Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about my favorite podcasts. Yes, a little bit different. Usually when I do these kinds of videos, I'm talking about my best books on a particular subject. But honestly, I've kind of run out of podcasts that I really find interesting. So while I'm going to be giving you my top 5, and they're good podcasts, by the way, I want to know what you listen to. What are you guys listening to? Let me know down in the comments. I really want to know what are some of the podcasts that you listen to, whether that's theology, whether it's like a sermon kind of podcast, or maybe just, different kind of topic podcasts. I'm always looking for something new to listen to when I'm manning the grill or driving around, doing the dishes. I listen to podcasts pretty much everywhere. So number 5, I'm going to start with my favorite podcast would be, how'd that sneak in there? I don't know how that snuck in there. Have you subscribed? Okay. Just saying we also do Theo Live as an audio formatted podcast. So give us a review. By us, I mean me. Moving on. Number 5 is, yes, I know you could have said it. Like you could have guessed it. Maybe you already did. You left a comment even before this started and you were like, I know the rise and fall of Mars Hill is going to be in here. Well, yes, it is really interesting. The story of the rise and fall of Mars Hill, very interesting. But the reason why I put that here is because this podcast, while it's super popular and for a long time people were talking all about it, now it's just kind of become like a footnote for a lot of people, and they'll kind of reference it, but they're moving on. And people forget that this podcast is actually ongoing. Mike Cosper hasn't stopped. He stopped telling the story of Mark Driscoll and Mars Hill, but every once in a while he'll drop an episode and it'll be about something a little bit different but still connected, like this conversation that he had just a little while ago with Tim Keller. Super interesting, a lot of wisdom there. And then this latest episode about trauma with spiritually abusive churches. Man, if you've had to deal with any of that kind of stuff in your local church, you should listen to this episode. It's phenomenal. So number 5 would be the rise and fall of Mars Hill. Number 4, a little bit different. I love movies. I've kind of tried to make that a little part of my channel here, a little bit different from theology, but sometimes you gotta just like relax, like you can't just be talking about Reformed theology all the time. Now, some of you guys will hear that and you'll be like, well, I'm done. Well, okay. But what I'm saying is sometimes you just got to enjoy what's out there. Enjoy a little bit of the culture and just kind of see what's going on with people, not just be talking like a robot about, the differences between infralapsarianism and superlapsarianism and getting into the nuances of things. That's great. But sometimes you need to chill. And what are you going to listen to when you need to chill? Well, for me, it's about movies, and this is one of my favorite movie podcasts. I don't agree with political, I guess I have to say that about everything. I don't agree with political stances and theological stances of everyone who has ever been on this show or any of the other podcasts that I'm going to recommend, but I really love how they talk about movies, and it's just a fun podcast. So if you need just to relax and maybe you're just like, you're theologied out, well, this would be a good way to relax and just hear people talking about new movies, old movies, all kinds of movies, mad about movies. Great podcast. Number 3 is Recovering Hypocrite. Now, this is with Noel Hendrickson. It's Noel Heikkinen. I know that. I don't know why I said it that way when I recorded this. Noel, I'm sorry. Who is a pastor and involved with Acts 29. And he just has some really interesting conversations. These podcasts, these episodes are not long. You're not talking about like one of my Theo Live episodes. That's an hour and 30 minutes. I'm trying to work on it. I'm going to get it down. Okay. It's going to be shorter, but these episodes are about like 25, 30 minutes. And it's just really phenomenal conversations about what it means to live out the Christian faith in just a very real way and be honest about your shortcomings and maybe your biases. I just really enjoy it. It's a laid back conversation. So recovering hypocrite would be my number 3. Number 2 would be the Happy Rant, because sometimes you just gotta rant, and sometimes, I don't want to make a video about something, but I would really like to hear somebody talk about it, and that's when I turn to the Happy Rant. That's with Barnabas Piper. It's with Ronnie Martin, Ted Cluck, and they just have great conversations and throw in some humor. If you are a sarcastic person, you're gonna really enjoy this podcast. And there's a book. Ronnie Martin, come on my show, talk about your book. It'll be a great conversation, I'm sure. Number 1, you guys probably knew it because I did reference it when I interviewed Joe Thorne about a month ago now. But it would be Doctrine and Devotion. The reason why is because I am so theologically in line with these guys. We're all 1689 guys, Reformed Baptists, and so basically, I just find myself listening and just agreeing most of the time, which is sometimes it's not helpful. It's a good thing to be stretched. Sometimes you just need to listen to people and be like, yes. Just listening to someone just being like, yes, I agree with that. I agree with that. And it's very affirming. That's how I feel about this podcast. Plus, it's really fun because Jimmy Fowler and Joe Thorne have great chemistry, and just being able to have, really good conversations about theology. Then, some of this new stuff that Joe's trying of having interviews with people, doing a little bit of live streaming, hopefully in the future. It's really cool. So if you haven't checked out Doctrine and Devotion, I don't know what to tell you other than go and give it a shot, because I think you'll really like it. Will you agree with everything? If you're here on my channel and you are not a Reformed Baptist, of course you're not going to agree with everything, but it might give you some little nuggets, some little gospel nuggets to be able to chew on and be like, this is a good nugget. I'm gonna really soak this in. I'm gonna think about this for a while. This is a really good nugget. Stuff like that. Anyways, these are my top 5 podcasts. Those are the ones that I listen to the most. Let me know in the comments section, what are some of the podcasts that you're listening to? Like I said, I could always go for another one. I'm always looking for new podcasts. So let me know down in the comments, what do you listen to other than the great Theology, right? You guys are all listening to that, right? Or at least watching it on Mondays here on my channel. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video.